Yo, today's friend is Ryan Janni. Ryan, thanks for coming through.
Hell yeah, man. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be here, man.
Yo, it's a pleasure to have you, for sure. Ryan, man, I don't know where to start with you, but I guess we could start because I look at your physique and how long you've always been lifting, but how long have you been like powerlifting seriously?
So I guess I'll have to say, like, I've always been someone who did the three big lifts, like bench, squat, deadlift. Like, it was always something because of hockey. It was like, you need to work your legs, and then the only, like, bench was in because, like, you need to bench. That was just like, I was in high school and everybody benched, and I was the only one that seemed like I squatted and deadlifted. But I played college hockey, so I all through that, like, all my friends were like chest, buys, back. That's all they did. And I was like, guys, we gotta squat and deadlift.
What age was that? Was that high school?
I was in college. Once I got to college.
Okay.
Shout out Westchester University, Golden Rams, baby.
Yeah.
So after college, I went off the deep end. Like, I started. Well, in college, I found electronic music, and that's how I became a DJ and everything. Like, it was all in college. So it was. This is I know we're talking about powerlifting, but this is how it all happened, and because powerlifting, like, it honestly saved my life. And when I was DJing, like, I found electronic music, and then the drugs came. Like, it was just as simple as that. And I loved the music before I did the drugs. But once I did the drugs, because I wasn't happy with my life, I finally loved myself. And when I came off the drugs, it was like, I need to smoke weed to get back to the night where we can do drugs. And I didn't consider myself an addict because I was, waiting to the night to do the harder drugs and the drinking.
You were like an addict with discipline.
Yeah, like, exactly. Like, I wasn't waking up and doing coke,
right?
Like,
but it was like you were waiting.
All that shit. So, like,
yeah.
Eventually at 24 years old, I had to check myself into rehab. It wasn't my choice because I had gotten arrested, and it was to look better for court. Like, that was the honest truth. I was like, I need to get clean so that I can go to court and not go to jail.
So you essentially had to go to rehab.
Yeah. Like, it was highly suggested that it would look good for court, and I was like, anything to not go to jail.
That's right.
Like,
That's
I'll
right.
do it. And it was in rehab where they took us. I'm forever grateful to this place. Like, Recovery Unplugged saved my life. And it's the only reason, not the only reason, but it's a big part of why I'm even here. Like, it was a music rehab. They let me bring my DJ equipment down. I DJ'd a barbecue every Sunday, and they took us to the gym 3 times a week. Like, talk about starting my meal prepping journey. Like, we went food shopping. I cooked my food. That was it. There was no going to McDonald's. There was nothing. So not only have I not had any drugs since I was 24. I haven't had fast food since I was 24.
So you were meal prepping, lifting weights religiously, and had music and DJing in your life to get you through this rehab process.
Yeah.
To help you.
And
one of the things.
Yeah. And these are all the things that I still do in my life that I love. And it's music, exercise, and good fucking food that has those are my drugs. Yeah. Like, those are my drugs now. Yeah. And I feel it when I don't have any of those things. Like we were talking beforehand, like how I woke up on Wednesday feeling like absolute dog shit. We kind of got into how it could have been because of the freaking horror movie nightmare that I had.
What are you dreaming about? You're waking up anxious. It's got to be your dreams. That's what I was saying off air. It's got to be.
But I pushed the RPE, which is rate of perceived exertion, on my squat.
What's that mean for people that don't know what rate perceived exerted means?
Yeah, I see it so much every day on my program, so now I just can. Everyone knows it, right?
Right.
But rate of perceived exertion is just when you're doing any of any lift really. It can be any lift. There's a hardness scale.
Yeah.
It's your rate of perceived exertion.
How
on the
challenging
lift.
to you.
Exactly. So like I've noticed, because it changes every now and then on what the rate is, especially because of the different sets and reps of each lift that I do. Mm-hmm. But on that one, the basic understanding was it was supposed to be an 8, and I took it way above an 8.
So, but let's be clear, you have numbers in place
exactly
to not burn out.
Yeah. Like there's the whole reason why. So right. You don't wake up Wednesday on your rest day where you're supposed to like get rest and feel good. Yeah. Feeling like dog shit.
How'd you start to pull yourself out of that Wednesday morning?
So Wednesday was not an easy day, and luckily like I was able to spend time with my niece. I was able to study. I'm taking the CSCS, which strengthens certification for strength and conditioning. I forget what CSCS stands for. I'm studying real good, right, guys? No, but
certification for strength and conditioning.
Certification,
and some more strength.
Right? No, certification for strength and conditioning specialist.
Yeah, because you are a specialist.
There we go.
But we'll get back to how you pulled yourself out on Wednesday, but you are a specialist in a lot of different areas. We'll get to those.
I appreciate that, man. It's cool because the studying is all a review, because I took a course at Westchester University called Strength and Conditioning, taught by the vice president of the NSCA, which is the person who gives the CSCS certification. Mm-hmm. So like
National Strength and Conditioning Association.
Yes.
NSCA.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
And so like I've learned all this stuff already, but I can't get a job at a gym technically without the certification for it.
Right, so you got to go through the process.
Yeah, like my degree from Westchester University, that costs, I'm still paying off.
6 figures, yeah.
Where I learned from the vice president of the company that I'm getting this certification from, with the textbook, the 3rd edition. Now it's at the 4th edition. Isn't enough for me. And where in my degree it says health specialist, athletic coaching specialist, but I can't be a personal trainer.
That's wild. But you want to take it further. I wouldn't say further, but you want to take it in a different section than personal training, because strength and conditioning is more your style.
Yeah. The only reason why I chose the CSCS is because it's one of the few where you have to have a college degree in order to get it. Mm. So it's above your typical NASM. Mm-hmm. It's above a lot of the
ACEs.
Yeah, like it's highly regarded, and usually only people that have like exercise science majors and things like that will take this one, because it's much harder. Like I'm learning about the sliding filament theory and shit like this. Like it's all awesome, and it's great.
That's above 95% of people.
Yeah, like and I have 15 years experience with lifting.
Yeah,
so like I'm sorry, but there's so many people that work in gyms that I have more knowledge and experience than.
For sure.
And it's frustrating that a place like a gym wouldn't hire me. Mm-hmm. So it's actually, you talk about having further aspirations. Like the goal, the number one goal of my life is to help people. And what's kind of cool about it is that like I didn't know how ingrained in me it was until I started looking up stuff about Virgos. And like that's one of the like main trait of a Virgo is the striving to help people. And I'm like, oh my God, that's why it's like in my core. Like, because I'm sorry, for people that don't know, like all the astrology stuff, it's real. Like it was way before all of the science that you worship now.
I got guests on here that promoting their voodoo. Nah, I'm a Pisces, and when I read what a Pisces is, I'm like, that's me.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm like, that's accurate.
It's no accident, and I also want to say it it can be funny and tricky because when you look at that stuff, you can say someone who's, doesn't believe and trust in that stuff is like, oh, that's a massive generalization. Mm-hmm. And I know that people think that because I thought that for so long.
Yeah.
But
when people look into it and research it, they'll probably find more validity than they thought.
And look, this stuff was around way before they had insane telescopes to see. Like there's a, now I'm getting like way deep. There is so much, not like the burning of the Library of Alexandria. When that happened, we lost, what was it, like 60%? And do not quote me on that. There's 60%.
It's 52. Yeah.
52.678. But we lost a lot of history from that. Like I bet the building of the pyramids were in there, things like that even. Yeah.
But you being a Virgo.
Yeah, let's get this back
makes you really want to help people. Yeah. But now back to your cert, help people get stronger.
Yes,
through weightlifting.
And like the number one goal is to help people. And through my journey, through recovery, which I don't identify as an addict anymore, because I don't like labels. Like I'm not a power lifter. Because say like I've torn my ACL and come back stronger. Like I've done, but like say something happens and like now my whole identity is wrapped up in being a power lifter, and like now I'm setting myself to be this like super depressed person if something happens. It's like, but that's not even labels. We've grown to use labels as a cop-out, as to be the victim, like talk about all the stuff in psychology and all this stuff. And my goal is to help people to break free of that stuff. Like depression, anxiety, bipolar, like all of these things. Like even in what's it called? In promotion of the medications that they do for these things, excuse me, they will forego the fine for saying that you have a chemical imbalance, because that's not true. There is scientific literature that says chemical imbalance is just a thing that pharmaceutical companies use to get people to believe that they have a chemical imbalance. Now, this is also, I want to preface this with like SSRIs have helped a lot of people, right? But that is a easy fix to a more complex problem. And it starts with like, what's your morning routine like? What's your nighttime routine like? How much are you sleeping? How much are you eating? Are you exercising? Like there's so much more to, like, show me someone that has anxiety, depression, or is bipolar, and here's the medication to fix it, right?
Yeah.
But like, what led to that?
Yeah.
Because the baby was not born depressed.
Right.
The baby was not born anxious. The baby was not born bipolar.
Right. So what happened?
So it takes, and I don't have a psychology degree.
Right.
But also in that Virgo thing that I said, the way Virgos help the world the most is by becoming a psychologist, nurse, or doctor. And I was like, well,
so which
I'm gonna start with personal trainer and and try and help people that way. But like,
because it was in your heart. It's in your heart.
Yeah. And holistic health coach is what I'd rather term myself as than a personal trainer, because I'm not gonna just tell you, because your life isn't gonna get fixed by 5 sets of 5.
Right. Right. So when you were in rehab and weaning yourself off of drugs by not using drugs and all these other things to help people, to help hobbies, to help passions, to help, were you on any other drug to wean yourself off?
I'm so happy you asked that question, because so many people, that almost brought tears to my eyes, because I used to work at a rehab. And Suboxone is just, there's literature that has the pharmaceutical companies, we're gonna give them OxyContin to get hooked, and then we're gonna give them Suboxone to get off being hooked on Oxy. But now Suboxone they're going to take the rest of their life. Like same with like methadone and stuff like that. And the other thing is like I can't tell you what it's like to come off of opiates. I never did opiates. I'm DJ and my goal was up. It was not
Wasn't down.
It was not down.
To go higher.
So I can't speak to how horrific that withdrawal and whatever can be. But when I got to the detox, they were like, here's your meds. And I was like, excuse me, but I came here to get off of drugs, not start new ones.
So they did offer you quick.
They right away, first day.
Right.
Here's your drug to calm your anxiety for coming off stuff. Here's your drug because you're coming off of alcohol to stop the seizures and stuff like that. And it was like four new drugs that you're going to introduce to my system.
Did you know going into rehab, you're like, I'm not doing any more drugs to get me off drugs?
I didn't know that was a thing.
Okay.
I didn't know that was a thing.
So you assumed going into rehab, you're not doing substances to get clean.
Yeah, I thought they weren't going to let you have coffee. They weren't, caffeine, tobacco.
No lemon in the water.
No
lemons.
No carbs because carbs release dopamine in the brain, and that's a drug too.
Right. No bread.
Yeah.
But you didn't know that, so you didn't expect that. So when they offered you that stuff,
I was in shock.
Did you have to think?
No. I immediately was like, no, don't. Especially because like the goal was to get off drugs to be clean to look good for court. So I was like, no, I'm not going to start more drugs.
Because you knew yourself too. Yeah. Right?
You're going to give me a bunch of these things that make me feel good when I was doing drugs to make me feel good. We're just replacing. There's no, we're not fixing anything.
Right. But let's be clear. Replacing it with dieting, weightlifting, and music are now healthy, non-drug avenues that don't affect your chemistry, but in a natural, healthy way.
The difference, I think, is that those things help rebuild and stabilize your chemistry, whereas the drugs overwhelm those same receptors so that when there's no presence of the drugs, it's the crash. The withdrawal is now there's no more serotonin, dopamine, any of that stuff to make you feel good. So in order to get that stuff to release, you got to do more drugs.
Yeah.
Whereas exercise, eating healthy, music is sound healing, meditation, like all of these things are the original drugs.
The OG of drugs.
Yeah, like the OGs.
Natural passions that give you drug-like effects. So how long were you art, whatever that means, music, painting? How long were you in rehab total?
So cool mini story within this, because for anyone that is struggling, that I went to rehab with the thought I was supposed to go to jail for 5 years. And I was like, I'll do anything to not go to jail. And like the miracle is that first it was like 2 months in when I got a phone call from my lawyer, and he was like, you didn't get accepted to drug court, recovery court, which drug court means it's just highly monitored probation, where after it your record's expunged.
Okay, you wanted that.
Yeah, I wanted that. Yep. That one was the number one thing. Then there's
you didn't get that.
Didn't get that. Then recovery court, I think is what it's called, is when you do 90 days to 180 days in jail, and then you get drug court.
So
then record expunged.
Did you get that?
I didn't. I got denied that too.
Okay. So did you think you were going to jail?
100. Yeah.
Okay. 2 months into rehab.
Yeah.
And you've been good for 2 months at this point.
Yeah. I broke down. That I was crying my eyes out. I was like, I'm 24 years old, and I might work out and have these big muscles, but like I was terrified of what was going to happen in jail. Like obviously you hear stories, all this stuff, and like I was not this like epic drug dealer that freaking got caught. Like I was an addict that was selling drugs to do drugs for free to support my habit. I never made money doing drugs or selling drugs.
You did it for you.
And it hurt so bad to realize not that I was throwing my own life away, but that my parents, my brother and sister, my family, like I was letting them down so bad.
Right.
And like I always wanted to make them proud, and I did the exact opposite of like my whole life is like every day that I wake up now is a gift. No matter if I wake up feeling depressed, feeling anxious, because like look, so 2 weeks after that call, I got another call from my lawyer, and he was like, "I'd love to tell you it was great lawyering, but it's just that you went to rehab and stayed in rehab, but the judge is offering you 3 years probation and 6 months house arrest." He's like, "You got to come home now and take this deal." And
So wait, when he offered you that, things were looking up in your mind? Or
first, I was still like, fuck, but this means the felonies and everything's permanent. So it's going to be on my record. So still I was like, but like, giving me 3 years probation, but drug court would be 3 years and then expunge record. So like,
You still wanted to get that drug court.
Yeah, I still wanted to not have the record after all this, because I didn't want that to be a stain, not just on me, but on my family, on my,
You cared a lot of. That's what you wanted gone, was that stain.
Yeah, and the other thing that I want to say is like, no matter what your record is, like that does not define you. Like what defines you is what you did after, right? And now, I got home and the ball just kept rolling with like gifts and gifts and gifts. It's like I went to
From
court.
friends and family? Or from life and God?
From the
or whatever
universe.
you believe.
Yeah, the source, God, whatever you want to call it, because every religion says the same thing, I promise you.
We know it. It's a Catholic household, but we don't push beliefs on our guests. We let them express. But you were getting gifts
Yes,
from the ethers.
Yeah, and like I was supposed to have 6 months house arrest, but because my charges were in Pennsylvania and I was going to live in Jersey, house arrest doesn't transfer to Jersey, so they gave me 50 hours community service. I was like, 50 hours? I'll do that in a week. You work 40 hours a week, I'll do 50 hours. Like,
Right.
Are you kidding me?
Right. You didn't care.
So
That
like,
was easy.
Yeah, so like blessings. And then when I took the deal, it wasn't for 12 felonies, which is what I got arrested for. It was for 2 felonies on my record, which is a lot less.
Yeah.
So like, again, the gifts
Kept
piling on. It kept getting lesser and lesser of a penalty on my life. And then 6 months in, I got 6 months home of staying clean. I was able to talk to a certain company that was all because of the work that I had done, willing to give me a chance even with my record. So like that's why I say like your record doesn't define you. It's what you did after the fact of getting that record. And even if you fucked up, like I promise you, there is still a way out. Like you can always do better today. Like it's as simple as that. You just do one thing better today. And it's like I worked that job I found out that money doesn't buy happiness, because I made a lot of money.
At that job?
Yeah.
So this is when you were clean, you were out. You did community service already?
Yeah,
Were you on
did the
house
community
arrest
service in
at
a
this
week.
point?
Did not have to do house arrest
You didn't have
because
to
I
do
got
it
offer. I got
because this job.
It doesn't transfer from PA to Jersey, so
Oh,
they gave me 50
right.
hours community service
In lieu of house arrest.
Yeah. Instead
So
of
once
house
you did the
arrest.
community service, you were good, but you still had 2 felonies on your record
and 3 years probation.
and 3 years probation.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And
So-
then you got this job
So
offer.
I got this job while on probation, still needing to check in Trenton, New Jersey at the Capitol, not the Capitol building, the probation building, whatever the fuck it is.
PB. PB&J.
So but it was a job at a gym, right? Like I talk about music, exercise, and nutrition.
And that
saved
you
my
got
life.
offered
And-
a job at a gym.
Yeah, so I was able to work out for free and make money selling memberships where I drank the Kool-Aid at first. Like I believed everything about this place and how incredible it was, and like for what it did for me, and and for the people that I met, I'm forever grateful to this place, and it's very close to where we're at right now. But
Made a lot of money.
I made a lot of money, and
Realized that wasn't the key.
yeah, I was still very unhappy with my life because I didn't like the up and down pressure of sales for selling something else. Now, with music, this is all me. Podcasting, this is all me. Being a coach, like this is all for me. Like, and I don't have to sell me. I just have to be me, and the things will come. Like it's as simple as that. Like that's my experience. Every time I work so hard to try and force something, it doesn't work. But if I just let the universe do its job, and things just
flow,
come to me. Like
the gifts come to you.
Yeah. And it's,
now, do you think gifts started coming to you because you put the effort in to be a better person? Not a better person, but you put the effort in, so you were rewarded. I mean, you were doing better with your life. You were getting more productive and more positive with your life. You were going in the right direction, so you started getting rewarded in these areas.
It's Buddhism 101, man. Karma doesn't mean whatever you do to someone, it'll get done back to you. Karma just means action.
What is your action?
So you just continue to do and do and do. You might not get the gifts that you thought you wanted, but you're gonna get absolutely what you need.
And it's the same thing, karma. And then in the Bible, treat others how you'd want to be treated. It comes
Come
back.
on, people.
It comes back. It doesn't matter. It comes back. Whatever you put out, right? What you do to others, if you are positive to others and a gift to others, they will be a gift and positive to you.
If you help yourself, you're helping the universe. Because if you help yourself to be better, your interactions with other people will be better, and your energy that you put out to the universe will be better. One person doesn't just change the world; like they change the entire universe. It is this scientific fact that we are all energy.
Do you think about that when you're posting maybe just cool things you like to do, or maybe things you think can help people, whether it's on social media or on the internet, or your podcast, because this guy does a lot of podcasting too, and he's a podcast host. And what is that podcast called where people could find it?
That is the Free Yourself Podcast. It is on YouTube. Just type in Free Yourself Podcast. If you type in Ryan Janni, you'll definitely get it, because Free Yourself, as I found out after I did it, is pretty common for people. It's a pretty... it's a topic that everyone
wants to do, free themselves.
Because we create this jail, this box that we live in, right? And it's for the first 7 years we're learning from our family, and then for the next 7 years we're learning from our friends in school, and then the next 7 years we've got this set of programming from our family and our friends, and then from 25 to 30, we gotta work to break these programs, or they're forever. And so, like, I went to rehab and got caught at the exact right, perfect time at 24. Everything happens exactly the way it's supposed to happen.
On schedule.
Yeah. And it could have happened. It could have happened earlier, because I had little nuggets of Ryan got caught with some marijuana, but it got knocked down to a disorderly conduct, and you just had to pay the fine. It's there was your sign you're not doing the right thing.
But you kept going. So now are you free from substance of drugs?
Here's the thing, everybody. Everything that releases dopamine is a drug.
So no, we're all doing them.
We're all drug addicts.
But you are clean from what got you into rehab?
Yeah. And listen, doing drugs is not bad. Selling drugs is probably bad. But also, nothing is ever good or bad. It's thinking that makes it so. And I'm sorry, I wish I knew who. I did not think of that quote. That was a quote from someone, and I forget who.
But doing drugs takes you down a path that could cause other destructive things to happen in your life.
but so can eating a bunch of fast food.
Fast food? Are you trying to say fast food is as bad as drugs?
I'm saying it might be worse, actually, guys, because it is a prolonged suffering instead of a die at 21.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
it does hurt your health if you eat a lot of fast food.
Yeah, I mean, everything that we put into our body that releases dopamine, like that's what drugs do. It's the same sort of thing.
But what would you say to a 20-year-old?
Mm-hmm.
How would you help them of people? Because look, the fact is a lot of people turn to stuff like alcohol and smoking and weed and maybe hard drugs because they want to escape or entertainment or television or social media. But look, they want to escape. So what can you say to help maybe an 18-year-old who's maybe going down a path where they could pick up substances like drugs?
The biggest thing through my experience that I've found is I did not like who I was, what I was doing, so I used those substances to escape. Now, I took it even further than that and started selling and stuff, but the only person that can change your life is yourself. But here's the catch, like, we have to also not be afraid to ask for help. Because if we're the only person that can change our life, but we don't know what to do to change that life, it's very hard. And through Narcotics Anonymous, they gave me a way to do that. Through meditation and the 12 steps, like it gave me a roadmap to do that. Now, I could have asked for help before. I could have asked for help. I could have said to my parents, like, I don't like I don't like me, and I need to go to therapy. But I believed if you go to therapy, you're a pussy. Like, you know, like that's the, like I that is not.
Like you were losing?
Yeah, like exactly. Like that is not true to anybody. Please, if there's any inkling of you don't love yourself, go to therapy. Like I promise you, it'll help. Also, find people, like you're a product of the 5 people you surround yourself with. So like find people that are happy. Like if your friend group is all people doing drugs and saying fuck the system, like then that's what you're gonna do. If you're around people that are exercising and eating healthy and working hard towards their goals, like that stuff's gonna rub off on you too. And if your friends and family right now are both the thing that are negative in your life, like just because they're family doesn't mean you have, like, friends are the family you choose. Family is given to you no matter what. When you I mean, and I say that, but like there's people that are born into orphanage and stuff like that, but like
right.
There's an it depends to everything.
But what you're saying is you can choose the people you hang out with, whether it is friends or family. But what you're essentially saying, correct me if I'm wrong, is you need to surround yourself with who you want to become, essentially.
100%. That's why the people that I have on my podcast are people that I want to have a conversation with that have more knowledge than me. It's people that are upcoming artists that I see them being a freaking superstar, and I see them working so hard and overcoming I gotta work a day job to pay the bills so I can make it as a musician, an artist, a photographer, a videographer, any of these things, and because we all go through. I have this dream that I want to do, but I have this money that needs to pay the bills because I gotta eat too, and it's when you can mold them together and figure out, like, all right, now I can figure out a way to make money from the passion that I have.
It's a beautiful thing.
It's beautiful, and not everybody that works a 9 to 5 has this awesome, beautiful dream that they want to do, and that working the 9 to 5 is actually the thing that gives them the satisfaction and provides for their family. So not everyone that works a 9 to, like my dad works a 9 to 5, and he has provided for his family my entire life. Like
Great accomplishment.
Yeah, and he goes to work.
Manly accomplishment.
Yeah, exactly. Like I have the perfect example of my mother and my father of what it takes to build a family and sustain a family. Like I know that's a blessing and
Huge blessing.
Yeah, and so all these things, like,
It looks different, I think, what you're trying to say.
for everybody.
People get so depressed
Mm-hmm.
because comparison, they say, is the thief of joy,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because it's not supposed to look the same for you, right? Everyone's got a different, like you said, everyone's dream is different.
Mm-hmm.
No one's dream looks exactly like the other person's. So, man, people, that's a gem. That's a gem. You're bringing up people's dreams are so different. They're different.
You also have the whole, like, everyone's circumstances are different. Everyone's dreams are different. What satisfies everybody is different.
Mm-hmm.
So getting to know yourself through meditation, through mindfulness, through prayer,
Mm-hmm.
Meditation and prayer are, they go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't like religion and you're like, I'm not going to pray to God. All right, well, meditate, because meditating, just breathe.
Just breathe.
Just do breath work. Just
Yeah.
4 seconds in, 4 seconds out. 4 seconds in. The thing that I do is 7 seconds in, 7 seconds hold, 7 seconds out, 7 seconds hold. It's
All sevens.
all sevens, and that's
Yeah.
because of the 7 chakras,
Yeah.
7 energy centers in the body, whatever
Yeah.
you want to call it, 7 places where we secrete hormones.
Yeah.
It's all the same. It's all the
Yeah.
same thing.
Yeah.
But there's also 7
Quietness too, right? Finding quietness and stillness. Well, people escape. People don't do that. People are scared of that.
And see, here's another thing. I then started in rehab and stuff to meditate for longer and longer as another escape.
You got
So-
addicted to meditation?
Everything is in moderation, and
Right.
that's the thing that addicts struggle with. That people that, not addicts of just drugs, addicts of fast food, addicts of coffee, addicts of, we all have
And here's the thing. He was about to say it. Whether you believe an addictive personality is a thing or not, you can understand to make this example applicable.
Yeah.
Some people have addictive personalities.
some people with porn.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever it is. Some people go hard, man. You go hard. You're all or nothing. You don't flirt with things. You don't dip your toes in the water. You're not lukewarm. You're a hot shower, cold shower guy. And so am I, bro. I take a cold in the morning, a hot at night. There's no lukewarm. You go full. You go
Yo.
full.
It's awesome. And
So you went
and
full into meditation. You went full.
Now, see, someone like me, and this just came to me from what you said. Like, someone like me achieves balance by the two extremes. So, like, I love meditating and how it feels, and that's working in energy. And then I also love powerlifting, and I want to compete, and I want to be the strongest 75 kilogram weighing person in the world in powerlifting. That's working
75 times
out.
2.2, folks. Right?
Yeah, freaking, it's called USA Powerlifting, the federation that I competed. Well, we still go by kilograms. Like, what are we doing? Like,
This
come
guy
on.
lifts a lot for a 75 kilogram dreaded being.
Yeah, and that means 165 pounds for anybody that doesn't want to do the math. It's
But you balance those two.
exactly.
balance them.
And then same with the showers. I used to just do hot when I was, before I found out the benefits of, cold plunges and stuff like that. Then I went all in. I did just cold. Like, it was like, it's so funny to think in hindsight, because it was like balancing out all the years of hot. It was just gotta go ice
You did
cold.
balance it. You did 2 years all hot and then straight cold.
And then now it's I get in, I do hot, so I can open the pores and release the the stuff, the dirt, the sweat, the
Goo.
everything, and
It comes out.
And then I rinse all that off with the soap, and then I finish with cold.
With cold.
And so
And that
now
works best for you.
it works best for me.
Yeah.
And for anybody who's had skin issues, eczema, psoriasis, anybody who's had mental health issues, depression, anxiety, bipolar, like, these are all, like, that's a quick and easy thing that doesn't cost money. I mean, you gotta pay your water bill. See, everything's it depends, but
Right, it depends.
But still, like you
Free. It's free for the most part.
Yeah, and
It's a way to.
it's just one of those things that you can use as a tool to help get better.
Yeah, I agree 100%. For quite some time now, I do cold showers in the morning, and man, it helps with, not that I have it, but it helps with depression. It turns your body on. It's a natural coffee, right? It helps regulate temperature. And it doesn't matter if you go full cold, half cold, cold in the beginning, cold towards the end. When you're doing stuff you don't want to do, it helps your resilience in life.
That's it.
If you could withstand cold water, freezing cold for 1 minute, think about what happens when your boss gives you a report. You're like, I know how to handle this.
This shit ain't cold.
This ain't cold, bro. I did cold this morning, boss. That's cold.
It's the truth, man.
You know?
As someone who does podcasts and is on podcasts, and people give Joe Rogan such a bad name. Like he pushed down by so many people, and like now I'm gonna sound like someone who worships the guy, right? But here's the thing: like I've learned so much from watching his podcast, not from him, like yes from him, but like the specialists that he has on,
Right.
and then I've been able to find avenues to help me by digging deeper into the guests. But also, Joe Rogan has a lot of good philosophies in his life, and one thing he talked about on the and this is on a podcast with Ron White, like another guy who
Comedian, right?
Yeah, another comedian, and he was like talking about whatever's the easiest, because he's older, he's like 65 years old, and he's like, whatever's the easiest, that's what I'm gonna do now, and I just like to go and play golf, and Rogan stops him, and he's like, actually, what I've found in life is like, the more I do things that are really hard, that I don't want to do, the easier the hard things in life become. And I feel like I might have. Obviously I didn't quote him word for word, but like,
Yeah.
But it resonated with me, and it gave light to what I was doing. Like the cold showers, the powerlifting, the waking up a half hour earlier than I'm supposed to meditate for a half hour, like all these. The meal prepping every week, every meal, all of these things that I do that are difficult. Like the easy way out is getting fast food for every meal. The easy way out is just doing a hot shower. The easy way out is not exercising and eating potato chips and watching TV. Like
Easy to do that.
yeah, it's so easy to do those things.
Right.
And then once you do those things, it's hard to stop doing those things.
Eric Thomas, the speaker, E.T. the hip-hop preacher, at one point he said he would go to a grocery store along this philosophy, and he'd seek out the longer lines to practice patience.
That.
Woo! Yeah.
Man,
but you're on the same thing. You're saying the same thing.
Yeah. That's so funny, because now it's another challenge that I like have to do, because but we like massive generalizations. So like
I'm always impatient.
Always when I'm going to the store in a rush to get out because I gotta do more things. And
You are. So am I. Most of the time, right? Most of the time, you are.
But yeah.
Yeah, me too.
But maybe doing that will help me better with time management. Like I got here late today. We're not
Barely,
gonna. We
yeah.
know. Yeah. But if you're not early, you're late. Like,
Right.
like these are the things that I hold to such high standard. But that's one thing that I've struggled with, because and then the hippie part of me is like, everything happens exactly the time it's supposed to happen.
You get to a job interview. I was meant to get here late, bro. You don't understand.
Like, 9 o'clock start time is not something we should hold to. It's like sunrise, man.
Sunrise. It's natural to wake up with the sun, bro.
Oh man.
But that's one aspect. I mean, and he talks about, practicing patience. You're driving, you want to find the lane that's going the quickest. Maybe you picked a lane that's slow. God forbid. I know it hurts. But man, man, I think that doing stuff that is hard allows you to do stuff that is hard when you don't have a choice.
That's exactly it. It's exactly it. When like you said, your boss gives you something that you got to do, and it's really hard, and you don't want to do it. Well, I guarantee the person who works out, who takes cold showers, who meal preps, is going to be able to handle that better, not only because they do hard things, but because those things reduce inflammation in the brain, which inflammation is what leads to those chemical imbalances in the brain that lead to anxiety, depression,
Stress,
and
all that
stress,
stuff. Yeah.
all that stuff. It just makes you better able to handle stress.
Yeah.
And one thing that I've noticed is that I also have a program in my mind, from seeing the example growing up of when something gets really hard to do and is really like detail oriented, and I get really frustrated, and I flip out, and I saw myself do it last night even. But the beauty of that is that I've been able to work on myself and find out more and more about myself, and realize that I'm running 80 trillion subconscious programs a minute, and only like 100 conscious things a minute. Like,
Right.
So
it goes back to the dreams. What's happening in the background you're not even aware of. There are things happening. So when you feel anxious and you can't figure it out, maybe just sit with that feeling.
Exactly. And what is tough about that is, like, in the moment when you're feeling those things, it is tough to do those things. But that's why meditation is a practice. That's why consistency with meditation, exercise, eating healthy, these things are important. And working on when you're feeling happy, to study more about yourself and meditate to find out more about yourself will help you in those times when you're not feeling. And the first time you do it, you get the anxiety, and like the first time after working on yourself, you get the anxiety, and maybe it lasts a little bit less this time, because now you've figured out, oh, next time I feel anxious, I got to do something that makes me feel good or grounded. And so listening to music and freaking dancing alone in your room where no one can see is one of the most dopamine releasing things you will ever do in your life. I promise.
Life hack. Movement is medicine, folks. And moving your body. So learning. So you're saying you have to learn how to deal with those moments, and then you take bits and pieces, and you can apply them to next time when it happens.
Yeah. So like yesterday when I was or Wednesday when I was in my bag, waking up depressed after a nightmare, and after a hard workout, and after all these things that piled up, like things that I was doing because I didn't want to let the depression for the day win, the anxiety for the day win. Like I took healthy substances and put them in my body. I took and I'm talking about like nutritional stuff and herbs, and like not not marijuana, even though that is an herb. It was ashwagandha, it was yerba mate, it was lion's mane mushroom, cordyceps mushroom, reishi mushroom. Like, these are all things that come from the earth, that
natural things you were trying to enhance your mood with.
Exactly. And enhance it's all about, like, my central nervous system and everything had crashed from the crazy hard workout that was harder than I'm supposed to, which was pre-regulated by my coach that I went too hard, and then it was the nightmare that happened, and then on top of that, like right now I'm knee deep in building my own business, and like I don't know where the money's gonna come from to pay for rent, and like that is stuff that weighs on me, but it's also like I know that the harder I force something, the more I push it away. And the more I just wake up and do the actions that I need, the more things will come to me. So like right now, what I have to do is like wake up and just study this textbook and put stuff out there that like I'm looking for clients. Like, it's as simple as that. Like,
Yeah.
don't go to, like, you know, just because I see someone that might be overweight and be like, I need to be your coach. Like, you need to work with me. Like, I'll better your life. Like,
Don't force it.
yeah, that person's.
Come on, man.
You really think that's
Come on, man.
Like, I can't just be going up to everybody that, like,
Right.
even
it's
people.
It's not necessarily up to you.
Yeah.
Right? They got to want you.
Exactly.
But you're a gift, but they got to want the gift. Not everybody is receptive to everybody. Now, all right, so with like 5 minutes left on this, I want to ask you a question. You talked about labels and how they're dangerous. And you are someone who DJs. I am someone who raps. And we've both had periods in our lives where we're kind of these artists with alias names, right? How do you rectify when maybe you're wrapped up in a title? Like in the past, I've been wrapped up as an artist and a rapper. But that's so dangerous because then when you stop making music, you feel less cool. You feel like you're not living up to your alias and your title, and you have to find something else. I think that goes to the danger. How do you handle maybe being someone who's really into a lot of things, but not calling yourself, not marrying those things? You don't marry them, but you love them, but you don't marry them. How do you do that with so many different things?
That's exactly what I'm working on. Like, for so long, I wanted to be the number one, the number one DJ, the number one producer, and be playing these huge stages at festivals, and for so long, I that was my dream, and like I fully identified with it, and so pushing into having to then sell that and asking people to come to shows and to buy tickets, like that also took a toll on me. And like knowing that I was a part of a duo where I was more the manager. I was better at the managing, and the guy I produced with was better at the producing. So he did most of the producing. So now when I'm by myself, now I have to tackle more of the production side, which is difficult. But podcasting and I'm trying to figure out ways to pay the bills. And at the core of all of it, like my number one goal is to help people. And literally on the way over here, like I came to the realization, it's like, because I want to be a coach and I need to figure out like what I want to charge people for this thing. And I need to find people that want the help, right? That are willing to pay these things. And I had this moment where I was like, look, I gotta let go of this money and this attachment to all of it. Like the real goal is to help people, and the more I help people, the better the universe is. And so it all comes back to like, how do I figure out how to help people? And it's you can't help people that don't want the help. Like when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Like, and I have to realize that, like, when the students are ready, like I will appear, like that sort of thing. And so when it comes to dealing with these labels and stuff, it's like you can't save your ass and your face at the same time. It's something along those lines. Like, yeah, I want to, DJ on these big stages and perform, but like my production is not at the level where I can do that yet. And yeah, I can pay someone to ghost produce for me, and they can get me to that level. Well, who is that helping? So at the end of the day, like you got to figure out what you really want to do and who you really are, and realize that we are forever changing. So another Buddhism thing, the suffering is a part of life. Attachment is
part of it all.
Attachment is what creates suffering.
So try to not get so hooked.
So to then bring it to Catholicism, let go and let God.
Just let go and let God. Man, I first off, I can't thank you enough for coming. And I think there are going to be a lot of students that come to you to be their teacher, my man.
I
Ryan
appreciate
Janni.
it. This. Thank you. Thank
got
you
it,
for
man.
everything, man. I love you, brother.
You'll be back. I love you too, man. For sure.